with 3 days technically still left to play in this match and Australia leading by almost 300, we would say that Team India have their backs to the wall.
Oh, yes, I think so. I think there's no question that since they're going to be batting fourth on a pitch which is not going to get easier to bat on, they certainly have their backs to the wall. So it'll take something extraordinary for the Indians to extricate themselves from the hole which they have dug for themselves.
Right. Would you say that India's collapse, the 7 wickets for 11 runs, catch you by surprise? Or was it just a classic case of too spin-friendly a pitch backfiring on the host itself?
No, it caught me by surprise because there really was nothing, in the innings earlier on, just that this kind of a collapse would happen. The bowler took 6 wickets and hardly turned the ball before lunch when he bowled from the other end and he bowled from the pavilion end. But when he swapped ends, suddenly he seemed to be able to get a little bit of grip on the off the surface and was picking wickets. But I think there were quite a few loose shots by the Indians that didn't help their cause.
Right. If you look at the statistics, only twice have India won a test match in the history of test cricket after conceding a 100-plus run lead in the first innings. Do you think this can perhaps be the third instance of that happening, or is that wishful thinking right now?
I think it's wishful thinking. I think, as I said, India will have to really, really play extraordinary cricket to win this game. Looking at the way they folded up in 40 overs. Remember, 40 overs only. It doesn't give you any confidence for the fourth inning. It certainly doesn't give me any confidence because unless they apply themselves a lot better than they did in the first innings, I don't see them batting more than 60 or 70 overs in the second.
Right. But you would say, sir, that this is still a pitch that teams can bat on. Someone like Steve Smith has shown that with a 50 in the second innings. Of course, he was dropped a couple of times, but this is not an unbattable pitch.
Oh, definitely. It's not an impossible pitch to bat on. It's not turning. Every ball is not turning. The odd ball is turning. Ashwin got the first 2 wickets with deliveries that went straight through with the arm. There was no turn in it. Yes, he got the next wicket of Hanscom with the ball that turned and bounced a little bit. And yes, I think that's what's going to happen. So batting is not going to be easy for sure. But it's not an impossible pitch. In played poor shots. India's shot selection was terrible. And that's why they find themselves in the position that they are in at the moment.
Right. A lot of fans, of course, are disappointed or anxious right now after seeing what has happened in Pune. But for a lot of purists of the game, it's also a great contest that's on the cards, and they're happy because of that. Because, of course, India did go on to win big series against the likes of England and New Zealand, but those series turned out to be one-way traffic. Here, you have the potential of what can be a toe-to-toe fight.
Yes, absolutely. I think this is. I mean, you're number 1 and number 2 teams contesting against each other. So there will be the ups and downs, and this is where the team's temperament and character will be tested. So I believe that the next 3 matches also will be closely contested. There might be a few changes here and there in the playing 11 for both the teams. But yes, I think this will be an enthralling series. The difference, I think, is that the Australian attack is far more potent, far more variety in the attack. And I think that is the reason why India have not found it easy.
Would you say that Team India made any fundamental errors today, sir, especially while batting? Because it's not every day that you see, in the Indian team lose 7 wickets for 11 runs in their own backyard.
Well, I think there were a couple of good deliveries. The one that Vijay got, the one that Cheteshwar Pujara got, they were good deliveries. Not much could be done about those deliveries. But the rest of the batsmen, I think, they played some pretty ordinary shots, and therefore they folded up in 40 overs, 40.1 overs.
Right. What did you make of the DRS reviews for Team India, sir, today?
The DRS reviews is something that, I think India still hasn't got the hang of. I think they've got to have a wicketkeeper who's assertive. If you have a wicketkeeper who's diffident, and Wriddhiman Saha somehow is diffident, he's a brilliant wicketkeeper behind the stumps, but he's got to be a little more active in assisting the captain. The vice captain, Ajinkya Rahane, who's in slips, he's got to be a little more proactive as far as taking a DRS is concerned. Virat Kohli stands at extra cover and at mid-wicket. So when it comes to those LBW decisions, he's not in any position to take a call. So he's got to depend on these guys. I still reiterate that you mustn't really listen to the bowlers, because if the bowler would want every appeal of his to go to the DIS because it's a wicket for him. But therefore, I think the wicket keeper and the first slip fielder, they are the crucial ones as far as taking the decision concerned.
Right, talking about the Aussies, sir, of course, someone like Steve O'Keefe playing only his 5th test match, he bowled really, really well on day 2. But I have to admit, when one first saw the Australian pick for their playing 11, a lot of people thought that perhaps they were playing a spinner less because they're playing only 2 specialist spinners in Lyon and O'Keefe. But it seems like they did read the conditions well and therefore, in that context, picked the right playing 11.
Yes, but again, as I said, it might be that you might find some changes for the next test match. They might want to pick another spinner, or might want to pick Glenn Maxwell, who can roll his arm over, bowl useful off spin. So I think, yes, considering the fact that they've always believed that their pace is their strength, they stuck to that. Their first 3 wickets were given to them by the pacers. Then the spinner, O'Keefe, came into play. So I think they've got their balance right. They went in with 4 bowlers, with Mitchell Marsh as the 5th bowler who could bowl. He didn't get to bowl a single over in India's innings. But I think playing with 2 spinners was the right tactic.
Right, one final question, sir. How would you rate the Aussie mindset so far? And do you think this series will boil down to not just who plays better cricket, of course, but who is also mentally stronger? Always. I think at the highest level with 2 well-matched teams, I think somebody who's got the temperament, somebody who's got the character, who can, withstand the nerves that international cricket, can entail, they will emerge victorious. And we all know that the Australians never give up, that they fight till the very end. And I think that's what India need to do in this test match as well. All right, Mr. Gavaskar, thank you so much, sir, for joining us. And of course, we'll see you again on day 3 after play in Pune. Thanks so much for joining us.